At ease, everyone. It's your Captain Holt. Some of you may know me as Captain Powerhouse. And today we're going to be doing a throwback standard Gauntlet League. It's quite the mouthful, but I saw this promotion up, and we've been doing some drafts and some construction things. I thought we'd try something a little bit different, and in no small part due to the fact that I started right around the time a lot of these decks came out. In fact, I think all of them started within months of when I started playing Magic. So I figured this would be a great opportunity to play with you guys, have some fun, and play some decks that you can't really play anymore. Anyways, if you like the content, make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. That's the Murphy's Vault YouTube channel. We also have articles and things that you can find on our website. That's murphysvault.com. And tons of other content. We do deck tags, openings, our store manager, Murph, he answers questions and does promotional videos and things like that. So if you're interested, please check out the rest of the content, and I hope you enjoy this league. Anyways, let's jump right in. Just so you know it's totally random, I figured I'd record this part. Let's see what we get on something red. Oh, Mono Black Devotion. Okay, when this deck first came out, man, I really did hate this deck. Mostly because I was brand new. This was the first standard I had played in at all. And it was I believe this is End of Theros, right before Born of the Gods came out. So I just started playing, and man, was I so hyped about playing heroic spells. So, like, at the time, I was all about red-white heroic. I was playing Anax and Simity in a deck, a Crow and Crusaders. This deck was not very good. But it was my first standard deck. I remember going to my first standard event and just getting crushed by Pack Rats, by Desecration Demons, and then to top it off, like, this lame weirdo common Gary, as we called him, still call him, where it was like, oh, well, can't be that powerful, right? Yeah, no. Mind you, this was also the same time period where I got all of my Thought Seizes by opening them in 2 packs. So, in 2 separate packs, I got a foil Thought Seize and a Thought Seize, which was pretty cool. So, a lot of good memories. Anyways, let's talk through this deck. So, basically, the way that this deck works is by just grinding a huge amount of card advantage and playing spells that reward you for doing a ton of black things. So we have Ultimate Price, kills monocolored creatures, Pack Rat. Obviously, this card's just busted. So if you don't know what it does, its power and toughness are equal to the rats you control, and then you can pay 3 to discard a card, and then make a copy of Pack Rat. So if you have 1 out, then on turn 2 you play Pack Rat, turn 3 you discard a card, now you have 2 2/2s, then you have 3 3/3s, etc., etc. So it quickly really just runs away with the game. Now you're grinding a bunch of ways to get card advantage with this. So you have Underworld Connections to help you draw cards. You have Nightvale Spectre so that you can discard cards from your hands, but you're happy to play the cards that you exiled off your opponent's library. You have Thoughtseize to disrupt whatever your opponent wants to do. This is especially used. The thing is, Thoughtseize is just such a strong card. It's good against just about every archetype. I think probably in this cube, what it's probably worse against is something like, what's it called? Aggro, just because the life loss is a real cost. And then we have Desecration Demon, which, yeah, it's pretty strong. Pretty quickly, it can become just like an abyss for your opponent just to make sure it doesn't untap. You have Erebos, which is another way to get card advantage, but also turning it on is like a real consideration in this deck. Remember that even though copies of Pack Rat, they have the same devotion, I believe. They're what's it called? They're a token, but they're still a copy, so they still have the converted mana cost, I believe. We'll see in a moment, but I think that's how it works. We then have Dark Betrayal, which is high sideboard tech for the mirror. We have Duress against control decks in the sideboard. Some more removal in Doomblade, and Shrivel is good, obviously, against token strategies, or even, like, I think there's times when you would bring this in back in the day against, like, Elspeth Sun's Champion, just because it's like, okay, how can I get back in this game? Kill all the tokens. Like, that's your way to do it. I'm not sure that's the best strategy, but I seem to recall that happening. There's Ferrica's Cure, which is great against aggro decks. Basically lets you deal 2 damage, gain 2 life. Basically a 2-for-1 sometimes against what they're doing. Lifebane Zombie, this is obviously great against big white decks. You know, you get to look at your opponent's hand and take their Supreme Verdict, or you get to look at their hand and take their Elspeth Sun's Champion. In this cube as well, there will be some relevance for things like Siege Rhino, so yeah, pretty good sideboard guard. And then another Erebos if we need some threat resilience. And, you know, just more ways to draw cards. So I think that would probably come in against control in any of the, you know, big sweeper decks. Anyways, I think, yeah, pretty much covered everything. You know, we have a lot of things, a lot of powerful things to do, and, you know, it's a pretty consistent deck. So let's fire in and see what this is all about. I'll catch you in round 1.